to another episode of the Peace, Purpose, and Prosperity podcast. I am your host, Life Coach Shereka Dunston, and today I am joined by someone who is no stranger to the podcast, Coach Sonya Teague. And let me just say, welcome to the show, and I want to congratulate you because your last episode is like my most listened to episode of the podcast ever.
Oh, thank you. What a wonderful way to start it off and set that bar high.
Listen, you are a star, and I'm so happy you're back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So we are talking about peace, and I'm so happy, you're coming back to talk about peace again. But before we get into that conversation, Coach Sonya, please just introduce yourself to the viewers and listeners.
Sure. Well, hello, everyone. I am Life Coach Sonya Teague. I am a certified life coach as well as a certified resilient coach. And really what I do is I help women find a harmony in their life as they play the many roles that they play, all through self-care. I'm going to keep it real short and sweet. If you want to know more, I can give you my website at the end. You can go check it out and read that long bio for yourself.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, as a self-care coach and as a person, you've talked about peace before. I know you know peace, but I want you to explain to our viewers and listeners what peace means to you.
Wow. The definition of peace have taken on many, many meanings. And right now, I'm going to say what resonates with my spirit the most is being undisturbed, having a sense of serenity, even in the midst of the storm, right? Because we can't help what life gonna throw at us. We have no control over that. However, it's really about understanding that, fully understanding that. And once you have that concept and you understand what it means for you, it's just make it easier to navigate life and to have inner peace. And side note, peace have to be maintained. We were talking about the plants. They have to be watered. They must receive some sunshine. Sometimes they have to get loved upon for a little love talk. How you doing today? You're looking good. Oh, you're just shining. The same thing goes for us. Okay? We have to maintain that peace.
Listen, you just dropped a lot right there. You got me with the undisturbed, because so many things can come to disturb our spirits. And if you can remain undisturbed when the world is going crazy, you're in a good place.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a really good place. And then that sense of serenity, that just gave me a whole picture in my mind, especially when you said in the midst of the storm, right? Because storms are always raging. There's some type of storm, whether it's, directly impacting you or impacting someone you love or care about or you're around or you work with. There's always a storm brewing. But if you can just stay calm, stay serene while all that is going on, woo, that's not only peace, that is power.
It really is. And that's the thing. You want to tap into your inner strength. And a lot of times we think we don't possess it, we don't have it, but we all do. It's just knowing how to identify it and what works for you. Because what worked for me might not work for Jane, but it will work for Susie,
Right on. And then I love how, you brought up the plants. Everybody knows I love plants. I did the whole program, Self-Care Garden. But, our plants, remind us how to take care of ourselves. I truly believe, because all those things we do to take care of them, paying attention to them, making sure they have enough water and enough care, pruning them even, because sometimes we have to prune some things in our own lives.
Yes. And you know what? I think I tossed it. I did. And also knowing when it's time to let go. Just sometimes we'll keep on watering it, throwing fertilizer on it. Oh, this one said throw a little cinnamon on it. I'm going to do that. And it's time to let go. And so I think that's a big part of it. A lot of times we want to just hold on. And, I think when we learn how to release, that's a skill set, to learn how to release. That's when we can move forward.
Coach Sonya, you are just speaking to me right now. All these words you're using, right? Like release. I have a 21-day release program, and it's like a challenge to help people let go, because we have to learn to let go of things that no longer serve us. You cannot, keep dragging it along. Like you said, you can't keep watering it and putting fertilizer on it, sprinkling a little cinnamon here, some rock side there, trying to clean up the roots. Listen, some things you just got to let go.
But it's so hard for people, right? And it's so funny. You have your challenge coming up, and it's something I've been kind of consistently talking about in my posts. Let go of what no longer serves you. Let go. Let go. If this is not doing A, B, and C for you, let it go. And no, it's not easy. No, it's not going to be easy, because there's emotions and feelings attached to it. That's why it's so hard to let go, or the ideal of, and that's a whole nother story, right? Because now we need to shift some beliefs. But yeah, letting go.
Letting go. And sometimes you just have to let go for that peace. We try to control things so much sometimes, and then we hold on to them and we won't let go. And really, we are disturbing our own peace and the peace of the people around us.
Blocking our way, blocking ourselves. Honestly, sometimes we don't receive those blessings or the things that were intended for us because we won't make room for it. And part of that making room is letting go and saying, okay, this no longer serves me. So let me just go on and release you, so I can get something new to come in, right? Because we ever changing, we ever growing, we ever evolving. And if we don't have that understanding about ourselves, we're going to be stuck, and you feel bound and trapped in a box. You can't breathe, you can't think. Everything becomes the same old, same old. And then that's when other things start kicking in. Self-doubt. You doubt yourself, you doubt your purpose, you doubt your intentions, you doubt. Because nothing is working out how you think it should, when all along you're not looking at yourself and tapping into what needs to really occur for the growth to happen.
Listen, you are coaching these people right now. This turned into a coaching session. Let them know. Tell them all the things. You have to make room for the things you want out of life. You have to let some things go, get it out of your space so that you have room to receive. Something I often think of, like if your hands are clenched because you're holding on to something real tight, you can't open them up to receive.
Ooh.
That stuff go.
Oh, and let's go back to your analogy. I like that. When you clench it, right? If you just sit and do this right now, if you listen and watch, do this. Do you not feel the tension that travels from your fingertips all the way up to your arm, to your shoulder? Might even hit right here, right here, the shoulder blade right here, and then hit you right here in the neck. That's all stress. Just saying. Let go, unclench, and you'll feel just a relief. So that's just a perfect way of understanding. You need a kinesthetic way of getting it, what it means to just let go.
Yes, indeed. Woo, if y'all don't know what peace means now, I don't know if we can help you. You're giving so many examples. I love it. I love it. So, Coach Sonya, why do we need peace?
Oh my God. Oh, if you think about what is the opposite of peace, right? Distress, anxiety, worry, stress, distress, stress. And especially now, with so much going on in the world. My mother used to say, keep living, keep living. The longer you live, the more you experience. And I think you get to a certain age in life where you start realizing, oh, wow, I want my time to be enjoyable. I want to live life, not let life live me. I don't want to be the product of an unhappy life, but one of a fulfilled life. And so when you look at all these things, what most people look for, they say peace, but they're looking for balance, right? There is no balance, right? So you're looking for the harmony. And within that harmony, you find that inner peace. That's what it is about. This is what's going to help you carry through your journey and enjoy life. That's what peace does. That's why we need peace. Because some things, unfortunately, we have to deal with whether, for the time being, whether we want to or not. It could be your job. It could be a situation with a family member. Not all family members you can love from afar. Some of them, they're right there in your face. And you're going to work through it. But in that process, you're in the storm, right? And you still have to find some type of peace, because if not, it would take you under. It would take you under. Yeah. So that's why we need peace. Who wouldn't want peace?
Right. Because, as you said at the beginning, when you were talking about why we need peace, like what's the opposite of peace? I don't want all that stress and anxiety and worry and more stress and de-stress and all that stuff. Like, that sounds hard. It sounds difficult. I want ease in life. I want things to be easy going. I want to relax. I want to chill. And as you said, I want to live life. I don't want life living me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because it can definitely show up in different ways. And I might be jumping the gun a little bit here, but you have to be aware of just how you navigate life, right? You can look at somebody sometime and tell that they're going through a hard time or something is going on with them. Their face will show you they frowned up. They just look worried and angst. I remember driving to work. Lady had an accident and she was standing outside a car. And it was a red light and she was just so tense. And I know what she was thinking, like, God dang, how am I going to get this car fixed? That's the look that she had on her face, and her shoulders were raised and she was rocking. And I let down the window. I said, hey, sis, it's going to be all right. You all right. So it's going to be all right, And she said, yeah. I said, just keep thinking that. You are right. It could have been something else. And sometimes we have to remind ourselves. See, the whole thing about peace, to me, the key to trying to stay in this mindset is being mindful. A lot of times we gain the peace for a minute and we get happy because we're feeling good. And then something happens to disturb that peace. And we forget what we learned. We forget what we was practicing. We get caught up in the storm. When all along you do have the equipment, you just forget to bring it out. Oh, this is a doozy. This ain't no I got to put on my big, tall rubber boots for this storm that's coming. I need a coat. I need a scarf. We forget. We forget that we have the tools in our toolbox. And so that's, I think, is a big problem for a lot of people. They're not mindful. They're not mindful. It's a moment by moment situation.
Indeed. People get so distracted by the storm. As you said, they forget they have the tools to weather the storm. Like, you already got your rain boots and your umbrella and your poncho. Like, you've been through storms before. It's not the first storm. It won't be the last storm. But when we get so distracted and overwhelmed by it, we forget how to be peaceful. We forget how to find our peace. You're so right. Listen, I'm loving this conversation. So, Coach Sonya, I want to ask you, what strategies do you teach people to, help them find their peace?
Wow. That's a biggie, right? Because so by professional trade, let's say it like that, I'm an educator in the field of special education. And so as a special education teacher, right, you try to individualize the learning. And so when working with people, I try to individualize the learning for them. Because like I said, what worked for one might not work for another. And you have to figure out how can you make the connection happen. Because once the connection happens, that's where the magic happens. That's what we're going for, is the magic. But if I had to throw out a couple of strategies for people to utilize, one would be understanding that you can control only what you can control. That's a hard one. That's a hard one, especially for, I'm not even going to say especially for women, because as women, we nurturers, right? We want to take care of, right? But men are protectors. They want to protect. And so that's just hard for us as people. But once you realize, is there anything I can do to change this? Can I make that person change? How powerful can I really be influencing the change in the situation? Once you realize some things are out of your control, it's easy to let it go. There's nothing I can do about that. I did all that I can do. And that also means when you're interacting with people or you have a particular situation, you have to be able, and this leads to the next one, you have to be able to check in with yourself, like a self-awareness check-in. How is this affecting me? How am I feeling? How does this make me feel? Is this beneficial? Is this harmful? Is this toxic? I always say protect your peace, protect your space. I'm so serious about that. Because if you don't, you're going to be in the land of stress, distress, worry, anxiety, fear. That's no way to live. So you definitely got to check in with yourself and know when it's time for you to pull back and say, I can't feed this any more energy. I've done all that I can do, I would say another strategy is, and this is a big one, and this is a really easy one, but people sometimes overlook how simple it is, but how huge it is, how powerful it is. And it's just gratitude, practicing gratitude. If you really, really think about it, often our needs are met. It's our wants that are not met, right? But if we can be grateful, just grateful for our needs being met, then, look what comes in, some of those wants, right? And it helps you just to be able to have happiness with your life. The old saying, there's always somebody worse off than you. You ever notice when You have something going on in your world, and it's not good, it's bad, it's devastating for you. And you start talking to someone and they start sharing their story, 9 times out of 10, their story is worse than your story. You know? So it's really been just grateful. Grateful. You know, I have a gratitude jar. Y'all, if I ain't had this beautiful setup with the ring light and everything and the computer right where I was, I'd grab it for you so you can see. But it's just a simple act of, and this is great to do if you have children, you know, partner. Write down what you're grateful for. I'm not an everyday person when it comes to doing it, but I do it at least twice a week. And when those times feel overwhelming, you feel like nothing is working out, grab your jar, grab your box, randomly pull out one and read. Read what you have going on. It's just a beautiful reminder, you know? And then the last one, like I said, you have to be mindful. You have to be mindful. Peace is an ongoing process. It's I attained peace and that's it. Oh, no, it takes work. But the more you do it, the better you will become at it. Would you be perfect at it? No, because you don't know what storm's going to come your way. You know, I'm good with a good snowstorm. I live in Chicago, even a little ice storm. But I swear for God, if a tsunami come this way, I don't know what I'm going to do. You understand what I'm saying? But you have to, you have to practice. It's sometimes throughout your day. Sometimes you have to, self-talk is beautiful when it's positive. And you giving yourself those little gentle reminders. And don't even get all worked up about this because you already know what it is. You can't control it. It's going to pass. This is for 5 minutes, this conversation. Lunch is in 10 more minutes. You can sit here and smile and push through, and it's going to be all right. Don't let it just ruin your whole day. You're doing good. You have to find what works for you to keep you going. That's some of the strategies I'm going to throw out there for now.
Listen, and I just want to recap what I heard you say. I took notes. So if you see me looking down, y'all, I'm reading my notes. Focus on what you can control. Because honestly, we can't control other people. We can control us. We can control our behavior. We can control our response, but we cannot control others. Do a self-awareness check-in. That was good. That was real good. Practice gratitude. And I'm so happy you brought up the gratitude jar. I remember a few years ago, my family, we had this like mason jar and it was our gratitude jar. And we would take slips of paper and we did it for like a whole year. And we put our little slips of paper in what we were grateful for. And on the last day of the year, we took each one out and read it. So now we have a little treasure box. It's like a little wooden treasure box. And we put our grateful statements in there, but we've slacked off. So we need to start back doing that. So thank you for the reminder.
You're going to make me grab my jar. Y'all wait a minute. Just wait. I got to grab it. Because you said mason jar.
Look at that.
It was blessings, grateful, thankful, abundance.
Yes.
And I fold it up so when I reach in, it's a surprise or whatever I might grab. Something really simple.
Yes. Y'all, it works.
Get a pickle jar. I don't get a jar.
Just a jar. Something, maybe it had jelly in it at one point. Just clean it out.
Yes.
Listen. Do what y'all like. A gratitude practice will change your life because it will make you aware of all the things you do have. And honestly, it brought up a story for me. So let me give the last tip you gave. Be mindful. And we talked about mindfulness. Well, Coach Sonya talked about mindfulness. But let me go back to gratitude. Today is like the coldest day of the year in North Carolina. It's real cold. We are in the teens, and I know that doesn't sound too cold, but we're in the South. We're not used to this. And we got a little snow coming down right now. Like, we do not do this for real, y'all. We don't do real winters. So what is this? And I had to get my Instacart from outside, my little grocery delivery. And I was thinking to myself, like, Shereka, how much of a blessing is this? You didn't even have to go to the grocery store. Mm-hmm. Are you really going to complain about reaching out to the porch to get your groceries? when the house is so warm, you are able to pay like the power bill and the gas bill. Like, you are so blessed in this moment. You better not complain about literally reaching your arm out to the front porch to gather your groceries, because it could be so different. And we start to take things for granted, like a warm place to stay or people dropping off our groceries on the front porch, when it could be so much worse. But if you focus on what you have, you don't have time or energy or the capacity to focus on what you don't have.
You changing the narrative, flipping the script.
Yes. And it's worth it, y'all. It gives you such a sense of peace. And I don't know, it just feels good to focus on your blessings, right? Because when you're focusing,
I'm sorry, but do you notice when you do that, do you notice that you sleep better?
Yes. So something I like to do when I'm doing just like my everyday gratitude practice, I know some people do it when they wake up. I like to do it before bed because it does help me to sleep better. It's like a type of meditation, honestly. You just, list off the things in your head, or you can write it down and journal it. I keep a journal by my bed, but y'all, I don't really like journaling, but I got one. But normally, it's just in my head, like, okay, let's think about the things you're grateful for. What was good about today? And I promise you, you can always find something good about the day. Even if you're going through a hard time, even if, life is not looking up for you, you can go to bed and say, at least I'm here. I'm alive. I can wake up and do this again tomorrow.
Oh, that's it right there. That's it right there. Every day that we are here is another chance for us to live life. And that right there is just priceless, period.
Yes, indeed.
If you don't believe me, just think about somebody who you lost. They're not here. And how much you missed them. If I may, one last thing, because it just came to me as you was talking. When it comes to peace, you also have to take a good look at yourself. A good look at yourself and see if there's something about you that you need to adjust, change, because you might be the one who's causing your own disruption. You might be your own storm. And that's a hard pill to swallow. But like I tell my students, because these are students who have special needs, and we all do. We just don't have a label. You have to be willing, but once you can get to a place where you understand your strengths and your areas of need and what you need to work on, that's such a powerful tool right there. That's where the growth happens, So definitely, when that check-in, that's what that self-awareness check-in is about. It's not also, how am I feeling? It's not just about that. It's like, what was my part, or how could I react, or how did I respond, or what was my thinking behind that? Why did I do that? And being very intentional about knowing you, because that's what you can control. Oh, see how it all ties in together.
I absolutely love all of what you said. And it's so true. You have to check in with yourself and make sure you are not your own storm. Because honestly, we mess ourselves up a lot of the times, right? We get in our own way. We become our own obstacles. I remember in my early years of coaching, I used to say, get over yourself because you're your own obstacle.
I like that. That's a t-shirt.
Listen, you're right. Wait a minute.
Get over yourself.
Yes.
So that the growth can happen, so that the magic can happen. Oh, come on now.
Look, you came up with a whole line of t-shirts. I love it. I love it. I love it. So Coach Sonya, anything else you want to share about peace before you tell us more about your business?
All I'm going to say is you possess it. It's in you. It's there. You can have it. You got to fight for it. You got to work for it. But I promise you, the more that you do it, it will start to become those practices, right? Will become second nature. And you will just immediately start tapping into yourself. You'll stop yourself before you even go, wait a minute, that's not your battle. Back, fall back, lay back. You'll catch yourself. And life will just be so much easier. It won't be perfect, but it'll be easier. That navigation, right? Sometimes you can put it on cruise, but not often. Just sometimes, very seldom.
Right.
But every now and then you can be like, oh, okay, I got this. Yeah. So that's what I would say.
I love it. So now please tell us more about your business.
So right now I'm finishing up a challenge, but I will be starting a new one for February. It's a self-love equals self-care challenge, and that is where we're looking at applying self-care to every aspect of our lives. Because some people think it's just pampering, and pampering is nice. Trust and believe, I love it. But self-care is more than bubble baths, okay? And then I do have a soul work journal that is about to come out. Yes, and it's all about goal attainment, right? Because a lot of times the hype is, what's your New Year's resolution? But honestly, right, if we're trying to attain different things in our life, move towards those desires that we have in our hearts, we have to set goals. And a lot of times that can be hard, right? As soon as we make a little bit of a mistake or we fall off, we give up. And this journal it was created to help people understand that the lessons are in what they could deem as failures. Those are the lessons. It's not failure. The failure happens when you don't do, when you don't try, when you don't start, when you don't move. So, yeah.
I love it. So please tell these good people how they can find you online, your website, social media handles, and all that good stuff.
Okay, so the website is joglc.com. That's journeyofgracelifecoaching.com. You put that in, it'll pop right up in Google. It's the first one, y'all. On Instagram, I'm at coach.sonya, Sonya. And on Facebook, I'm at Sonya, Sonya. Last name, think league, like Little League Baseball, TEAGUE. And that's how you will find me.
Awesome. Y'all better go follow her and go to the website so you can get ready for this next challenge. So you know when the journal comes out and all that good stuff. Coach Sonya, it is always, always, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for showing up once again for the Peace, Purpose, and Prosperity podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I thoroughly enjoy it. And I just hope that what I said someone can really use and it'll make their world better.
Yes, I love it. And thank you all for watching and or listening. This has been another episode, and I am your host, Life Coach Shereka Dunston.